Okay, just a quick thing today. First, a couple announcements. Um, Again, we did this poll activity in class on Wednesday. You were assigned groups there, and hopefully you worked on that. If you weren't here on Wednesday, you were assigned a flex group, and you can work on it. But each person has their own role in the poll activity. So even if you can't get together with the other team members, you can hopefully do your roles for that. So that's all posted there. But I think most of you were here on yeah, on Wednesday and did that. The other thing is our TAs are not seeing that many people asking them for help. So they wanted me to remind you that there are, a couple different ways to get help. Heba and Allie are two actual TAs just for this class, and you can email them. They have a list of hours they can do, but you can just email them, and if you want to just go over an assignment, if you didn't do an assignment or something like that, or you're stuck on something, you want to just do some review problems, something like that, you can get a hold of them. We also have a tutor, Kyle. He tutors all the uh, first 2 year of computer courses. Uh, so including computer science principles, CS principles, and in this course. And you can sign up for tutoring with him also if you want and work with him. You go to this link. You go to that link, you scroll down to subject specific tutoring, and you say, I want an appointment. And then you have to find the Java class. It's usually, to me, on the second page. Although, you could actually just do the CS Principles class because it gets you to, if you click on that, that's Kyle's schedule too there. It says Kyle right there. But if you want to be official, you have to find the Programming 1 course. I have to go to the second page here. Um, and go down to Programming 1 here. And then that's Kyle's available schedule here. And then you can select a time. So feel free to visit either one of those. I'm also free a lot, so feel free to just stop by my office. You can just stop by announce. When I'm not in class, I'm usually just sitting in my office grading and doing other stuff. So I'm always looking for people to stop by here. Usually here from about 8:30 till about 4 there. And I do have some office hours in the evening, so you can always click on my calendar and see what times I have. So generally Sunday nights, Thursday nights, nope. Yeah, I think Sunday nights and Thursday nights I have evening hours too that you can sign up for. So keep those in mind. So what are we going to do today? Um, so today we're going to work on I'm going to go down to the final project and work. We want you to work on the final project, the design document. I have it due today, but I've been asked, and I'm going to switch this so it's due on Monday with the other part. I think you should do it. If you do it today, my goal is if you do it today, I will grade it or give you some feedback on it so that this weekend when you're working on the actual project you can tweak things if I think that's good or not. So if you get it done today, I'll try to review those either tonight or tomorrow morning and get those back to you so you can get some feedback on those because the prototype, the first part of this, is due on Monday here. So we'll spend class today and we'll working on this and Monday working on this stuff. So again, I will eventually, I'll switch this date to be, because the problem with this is we have a number of online students, or students who are working full time during the work week. And so they really don't have time during the week here to get this. They have time over the weekend to do this. So I'm just gonna, rather than changing it just for them, I'm just gonna update it for everyone. So, but you should work on the design document. Now, students often ask me can I try to give out a layout, but they still have some trouble visualizing it. So I created a sample design document. Remember, we worked on the Yahtzee dice game here. And so here we did Paper design. Here's the basic design. And again, this is kind of to give you an idea of length here. And again, I used AI to generate this, and then I went through and this is what I usually do with the AI. I redid, probably 80% of this because AI just the voice it uses just isn't my voice and stuff like that. But it really helps me with some of the organization and structure of that. So I like using AI for that stuff. So I here's again a description of the app and some of the inputs, outputs, what I expected to do. So again, a couple paragraphs for that there. A paper design, and for this, it's just basically a sample run there. What I think should be the inputs and the outputs here, and then I change the color of what the user would be entering here. And again, in a perfect world, you would think of all this and you would do the design ahead of time, and then you would start programming it. But in reality, I can never really do this. So I actually have to work on kind of my design document and my initial program at the same time. So I'm starting to do some of this stuff, starting to write some of the program, and then working on the design. I try not to get carried away with too much of the programming, just enough so I can. So IO program, I go, some of this like, oh, the re-roll stuff. How does that work? I really don't have a good vision of that. So I'll actually program that in to get it clear in my mind, and then add that and make sure I have that in my document here. Because I didn't know how I'd want to do that until I tried it out there. So some of this is this part is actually from actual code I was practicing on, and then this part I'm making up basically here for this. Then you break it down. The next step is break it down into steps here. So I, broke it down in some steps. And again, I find AI sometimes is useful for this, but again, then I read some of the steps and I go, some of these just don't make sense, or some of them, so again, it helps somewhat. But I had to tweak. I would say, yeah, at least half of them I modified or tweaked or got rid of stuff like that here. And then so again, lay out what the program did and some detail, not too much detail, and then try to break your code up into different methods that you might write. And again, I don't know if you remember our dice program when we were doing that, but we had a main method that would do our main loop. There's I need to re-roll the dice. I just kind of looked through this and say, I need to display the dice here. I need to display the score pad here. And a number of times I need the total score here. And then again, in the end, what I ended up doing is not have a separate total score, but just have a score, something I use to just calculate and display the score frequently throughout this there. And then there are some other methods like to determine if you have a Yahtzee or four of a kind. Now, I don't know how much, if I was doing this for a final project, I wouldn't know how much of this I would actually do. So I'm actually just going to plan to do just the first part of the score pad here, and not all the the later parts where we did three of a kind, four of a kind, full house, that sort of stuff. So I kind of have that highlighted as I don't know if I'm going to be able to do those or not there. And then you pick at least two methods and try to lay them out again. And again, this is I'm actually writing this somewhat when I'm actually coding it too. So I mean, you don't have to be just doing design and not coding. So some of this I really kind of have to clear my mind, from the pseudocode, and I have an idea. And some of this I just know, like to display the score pad, I haven't done that, but I go, that's just a loop. I have an array with the score pad numbers in it. I just loop it over and print out each one there. And somehow I have to add this already used to some of the entries. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. Right now, if it's not 0, I add it here in my current plan, but that's not a good, I don't know, it's not the final plan. So finally, the implementation plan, I just took my program plan, pasted it down here, and then added details to a number of the steps And then I wanted to break it down into phase one and phase two. So what are you going to get done by Monday, and what are you going to be done? What are you going to get done by the following Monday? So here's green is the first Monday. I want to do this stuff. Blue is what I want to do by the next Monday there. And purple is stuff that if I have time, I'll do it, but I don't think I'm going to have time to do that sort of stuff in purple. So that's my layout. So again, that's kind of my design document idea. And again, it should just help you. We used to not have students do these, and they'd get kind of lost in how do you write, in these programs and what you need and go down path. So the main idea here is to just kind of organize your thoughts on this and keep a document on this. And again, I find it helpful. I think you should start with the design document, get about halfway done, then do some coding, do maybe a quarter of your coding, and then go back and finish up your design document the rest of the way and just keep so your design document should be about, ahead of your coding, but you should have an overlap, if that makes sense with this. Okay, questions on this? So, all day today, we're just working on this. I'll come around if you get stuck or in it, especially if you don't have an idea. I know some of you generally don't have an idea yet, or you might have an idea that's too big or too small or whatever, or just want to refine it. Call me over and we can brainstorm how to do this. I've seen a lot of projects at this level. And again, it's often hard to figure out the scope because what can you do and what can't you do at this point is sometimes unclear. So. Okay. I'm going to stop this then.